Did you know your message could be worth $1 million? Even more, maybe even have an impact beyond anything that you ever dreamed of. But do you really know how to optimize your message so that you're taking interested people, people who just maybe like window shopping, and really turn them into raving fans? Hey, it's Melanie Benson Strick here. I'm America's leading small business optimizer. And this weekly podcast series is designed to help you optimize your business from the inside out. We go into all the things you need to learn to make your business have the least amount of effort possible going into it, but have exponential profits, impact, and most importantly, fulfillment for you. And we're going to dig into one of my favorite topics today with a friend of mine, Maurice DiMino. Did I get that right, Maurice? Maurice DiMino. DiMino. Now, just a little bit about Maurice. Maurice is an award-winning international speaker and an author who helps business owners create their own $1 million message to convert those prospects into raving fans. And guess what raving fans do? Raving fans buy more, they refer you more, they, talk about you all over the web, and they become literally a virtual marketing machine for your business. And the best way to get there is with what Maurice and I are going to talk about today, having the right message to get out to the world. So, hey, Maurice, you're actually just literally right down the street from me, but here we are, like doing this on Skype. I realized
modern technology at its
best.
Walking to each other.
Who gets together in person, right?
Yes.
So, how long have you been a speaker?
Well, I'm going to be celebrating my 10 years. Prior to this, I was in sales. But as things would happen, I was very fortunate that I was introduced to a fantastic organization that we all know and love, Toastmasters. And what happened is that something that came naturally to me, sales, and my new passion, speaking, they merged together. And here we are 10 years later, discussing the $1 million message.
Yeah. I love, not everybody in the speaking world would consider it sales. But really, that's what you're doing on stage, isn't it? Is in a way, you're selling yourself, you're selling your message, and sometimes you're even, quote unquote, selling someone into next step, transform their life and make a big difference in helping them achieve the goals they want. So it's a natural marriage to integrate sales with creating a powerful message and being able to execute that message well.
Yeah, and I think you hit it on the head. A lot of people say, oh, no, Maurice, I'm not in sales. But guess what? They just tried to sell me on the idea that they're not in sales.
Ooh.
So I think we kid ourselves that we're not in the, how about this? We're not in the persuasion business. You have your message, I have my message, the person around the block, around the world, they have their message, their product, their service. Well, how is it you're going to create, as I say, the transaction so that you can be gainful, so that you can take care of your family, you can enjoy the pleasures in life? And I'm a sales dog from the original day, that I believe that nothing occurs until someone sells something. So how is it that when you're in front of the room, or better yet, when you're one-on-one, one-on-many, online, offline, on stage, how is it that you're persuading people? How is it that you're creating that transaction? And that's what I've done. As I said, I created a marriage between sales and presenting yourself. It doesn't have to be on stage, but how you present yourself to the next person, to the group, to the stadium full of people. How well are you presenting yourself that you are persuading them to see your point of view, and better yet, let's take it a step further, to create that transaction, to have somebody invest in your product, your service, or even your idea.
I love that. And I will fully admit, I came into the world of entrepreneurship repelled by the idea of selling, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. And I've actually had people pay me one of the most amazing compliments, like, you're a great salesperson. I'm like, what? Who? Me? You're talking to me? But, in my own experience, and I know this is a big part of what you're about, we never sell anybody anything. We give people an opportunity to solve a problem. And I guess one of the things that I've become better at, and for some people really excellent at, is I've learned how to master what it takes to help people realize I can help them solve that problem and want to say yes. So, now we're going to translate this skill into our message. And so how do I know I need a $1 million message? Like, where might I be in my own business or in the way I'm trying to market my business that would be a sign I might need to get some help getting my message a little bit better.
Well, let's get right to it. It's the bottom line. How well are you seeing? They say that your results will reflect how well you did to get those results. So let's take a look at the bottom line. Let's take a look at how many clients you have. Let's take a look at how many, as you said, referral points. And that's what I want to do. I want to create raving fans out there. Why? Because they multiplied my message. They market my message. And now I've created multiples of myself. So let's take a really hard look at our results. Are you getting the results that you like? And I love your show here. We're talking about optimizing. Are you truly optimizing, and in my case, your message? Are you optimizing your message so that you are getting the revenue, you are bringing in the clients, you are getting the referral points, as I like to call it, so that you are building your message? And there is a way to optimize, if I may use that expression, there is a way to optimize your message so that you're doing that. You're having people invest in you, and not only that, you're taking them, and this is an interesting fact, and I keep going back, that's creating raving fans. You're going to probably hear that throughout our time together, Melanie, is that I want to create raving fans. Why? Satisfaction. I just don't want to force my product on somebody. I want to make sure that there is a fit, that there is an opportunity to do business with that person. And yes, it is my job to bring them to the yes, to show them that yes, there is an obstacle or even there's an opportunity in their hands, and that my product, my service, or even my charity or message will help them propel forward. Now, if I'm helping people to be better in their lives, whether it's better living, better health, better beauty, better dollars coming in, isn't that worthwhile to invest in my product or service? So yes, I'm in service to people, and I want to create so that we do have that synergy, and we are working together. So guess what? I'm optimizing my life. I'm optimizing other people. Well, I guess that's the theme of the show, right?
Yeah.
Optimization here. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people to create that marriage between what they need to help them with their obstacles, their opportunities, and in my case, it is the messaging. It is their content. We've all heard the expression, content is king. Well, my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is are you giving your content the royal treatment? And that's my point.
That's kind of a cool way to look at it.
Yeah.
Royal treatment. Let's take down a notch what messaging means, because there might be someone who isn't really aware of what messaging is, because it could be how we, design a speech. It could be our brand messaging. It could be the marketing we use. Like when you help people build $1 million message, where does that fit in terms of the different parts of our business messaging?
Well, the basis of my message is my 26-point template, $1 million presentation template. Now, I know it has the word presentation in it, but again, for me, presentation is how you're presenting to yourself to the world. That's from a 140-character tweet all the way up to a blog post, to a flyer, to a sales letter, on stage, off stage. So what you got to do is you got to create a verbal journey, even if it's on paper or if it's live in front of people. See, people can't, maybe some of us have a product or service that they can't try out right then and there. But I know this, is that I got to give those people an experience. Give them a chance to give my product a try, even it's just in the theater of the mind. So how well are we creating, as I like to call it, the 3 C's? How well are we creating a clear, concise, and call to action message? Again, whether it's a post, a tweet, a blog, a sales letter, how well are we creating that? It's clear, concise, and what I differentiate myself from others is that call to action, that marriage of sales or persuasion, as we said earlier, into your message. So again, what are you doing? I've had people use my template, yes, to do speeches, definitely, but I've had them do it for blog posts. I had them to write their books. I had somebody use my template for a bid that they put out for a major contract, and because it was clear, concise, and the people, the client, the prospect knew exactly what to do next, they made in profit $11,000. They got a $22,000 contract because they were clear, concise, and call to action.
And I'm also going to read into this that it's about a consistent, clear, concise call to action. Because with what you just said, what I hear is that, okay, on my blog, I'm talking about one thing. Over here, I'm tweeting about 7. My Facebook posts are all random. And then my is about this. And, there's that 4C, which is consistency and consistent messaging, which to me has been very difficult. Constantly evolving entrepreneur. So What is your thoughts on that consistency, and what happens when you find yourself going in a lot of different directions? How do you bring that back?
Melanie, I'm so glad you brought that back. Because of my background, I lived in New York City, worked in New York City in advertising, and we knew this, that we only had 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and guess what? We had no grand illusion that people were going to pop out of their living rooms, pop out of their beds, and go run and buy a six-pack of beer or a box of tissues. But we knew this, that yes, maybe we had all different campaigns, all different characters and all that, but our message was consistent. So that yes, when you were ready to invest in a six-pack, you were thirsty, you were throwing a party, or you're running a cold, or you need an extra box of tissues, you would buy our product. So yeah, by having this template, you're delivering a consistent message across all boards, from 140 characters all the way to a 3-day boot camp, let's say. So you better believe it. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to optimize my message right now that it's the 4 C's: clear, concise, call to action, and consistency. Yeah, again, it's going back
Love the collaboration. Hey, there's a fifth
oh my God,
C.
the fifth C. I love it.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely, it is about having that consistency of message, and I do believe that's that clarity of message, being clear with message each and every time you deliver it, no matter what medium it is, no matter what length it is, and that's by having my template in place that people will discover at my intensive. They'll go through the whole process and they'll understand exactly what the needs are. How do I get that message across, and how go about opening up, and again, opening up that relationship so that people do see the need in my product or service.
So you were like a modern day Mad Men, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and I was just coming off the tail end of the 2 martini lunch. So yeah, we were.
Okay, I'm not even going there. I had so many questions that popped in my mind. We'll save for our next little
yes, we'll
coffee or whatever we do. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, I love this. And, I have to say, as an entrepreneur who's always evolving, getting my message has taken years. And then I would get one message down, and then I would find myself kind of evolving into another message. And I didn't know you at the time I did my last messaging round, but I had to say, working with someone to help you get that clarity is it's real gold, and again, it can help you with language that will get people to get what you do. I think one of the big breakdowns out there is, people you just lump in, you're plain vanilla, you just blend into the back because you either sound like everybody else or people don't really get how what you do relates to them. And would you say that's probably one of the big space that and getting help with your messaging really solves?
I think there's a couple things that's going on. We have such opportunity now to reach the world. I mean, look at us here using this framework of Skype, Twitter. We have so much opportunities, Facebook, blogging. We have so much opportunities to put content in place. And that's just it. I think that we have such a demand on ourselves that we just put, it's the proverbial, we'll throw anything against the wall and see what sticks. But I know that in traditional sales, and you know this, there's got to be a USP, a unique selling proposition. So what makes you stand out? Is it your experience? Or maybe you have a 26-point template. Or maybe yet you have a philosophy that is just outside of what's normally done. Or maybe you have a 5-step program that takes you through the whole thing. What I want people to do while watching the show is I want to think of that. If you are an entrepreneur, the best way to optimize your business is, what is the system? What is that system you have used that has made the difference in your life? And guess what? That is your unique selling position. And a lot of people say, Maurice, well, I hear my message all over the place. And I always love using this example. The people that talk about the law of attraction. Mm-hmm. Now, how many authors, how many books, how many programs, how many seminars are out there from different creators, authors, presenters, and all that? But yet they're gainfully employed. Why? Because they found a unique way to deliver that message, to make that message understood, and better yet, how to use that message. So don't get me wrong. It is a journey. Like Melanie said, and I'll be the first to admit, it was a journey to get to my brand point. In other words, your $1 million message. So I know this. Either you will find your brand or your brand will find you. Same with your message. But I'm going to say stick with it and know this. I believe that you got to go out there and give it a try, right? Go people, meet people, go to networking events, even present yourself. Yeah, start using the most beautiful tool of them all, public speaking. Why? Because as you're going along, guess what? Your audience is going to begin telling you, you know what? I really like that, how you did that. That was really interesting. That was different. And guess what? That's your clue. That's your cue to understand what your unique selling proposition is. And Melanie, I definitely agree with you. Just don't throw anything against the wall. Because you have this great opportunity to reach the world because of the World Wide Web, doesn't mean you just start throwing anything out there. Be strategic.
Made that mistake. You know, you brought up public speaking, and I can't think of a better way to see how well your messaging is matching target audience. So if you're doing a good job of picking a target audience, you'll find out very quickly, do people resonate with your message or not, by how they relate to your talk. And I've had clients who are like, okay, I have this great talk, but it just bombed. And I'm like, well, who were you talking to? They're like, oh, yeah, this really wasn't my core audience. So get in front of the right audiences. Trust me, if you've got a good message, you'll know really quickly that you're in the groove.
And what I say is this, with public speaking, let me tell you something. I would rather speak in front of an audience of 100 people than make 100 calls. Because what it is, we're creating 100 warm calls. Your personality, your feeling, your integrity, your honesty on that stage. And guess what? This is traditional sales. Before they buy your product, before they invest in your service, or even donate to your charity, they're investing in you. They want to see who the messenger is. So I can't think of a better way. So if public speaking is not your thing, I'm going to highly recommend to go out there and find a platform, no matter how big or how small, and just work on it. You know, they say that practice makes perfect. No, that's incorrect. Practice makes progress. Trust me, you will get better at it. When I first began, not too good, Melanie. But you know, after 2,000 paid presentations, I mean, throughout the world, speaking and all that. And trust me, I even see little improvements here and there. So trust me, the possibility is out there. The potential is out there. And I want you to go out there and go out there and grab it.
So you've alluded to a couple of the changes that you bumped into on this journey, optimizing your own business and really becoming a sought-after public speaker and an author, and, you know, having that kind of impact in what we might even say the role of being a public speaker. What would you say was one of the biggest challenges that you faced that once you got past it, it really made a huge difference in your bottom line and your ability to impact people?
Well, with full disclosure, again, it was that brand thing. When I first started out, I was life lesson 101. In other words, I was going to tell you how to live a life. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even able to live my own life, and I'm going to tell you how to live your life. And you know, I'll never forget, I would go out to these service organizations where you had only 20 minutes, and I was giving them like 27, 37 different points on how to do it. Oh man, I was just skimming over things. There was no consistency of message, and I just realized, and you said something very key before, I realized that, you know what, I wasn't addressing the audience's needs. Yes, you're going to be in front of many different audiences, but yes, there's basic needs that are out there. And guess what? I know your product or service fulfills that. So as I went along, I noticed people say, hey, you know, I like how you put that message together. Hey, that was really enjoyable. And I slowly, again, what the audience was telling me, plus what I love to do, and Melanie, you know this about me, I absolutely love the process of presentation, speaking, doing it, watching it, studying it, dismantling it, evaluating, coaching it. It just marvels me. And what I notice is that with my passion, and that it comes easily to me, because people say, how'd you do that? I'm like, well, no, it was no big deal. But to them, it was a big deal. There. Do you see what I just said? It was a big deal to them. See, that was unique to me. So that's where I found my unique selling proposition. And slowly I developed the template for many years from my sales that I used at back-end sales, doing over $1 million worth of business a month in the post-production sales area. And now I adapted that, and I together my $1 million message. And I know this, as I said, everyone is screaming content, content, content. Well, how well are you delivering that content? Are you being clear, concise, and is there a call to action with the content you deliver out to the world so that you're creating raving fans? So there you are, that you have the genesis of Maurice DiMino. Was it easy? No. I fell down, fell flat on my face. Let me tell you something. One year I did over 50 service organizations. I spoke at over 50 service organizations. Why? Because again, I realized if I didn't do it, if I didn't practice it, I would never get that progress. I would never be. And now I do speaking full time. I travel throughout the world. I get to do what I absolutely love. And guess what? I get to see the difference in people. You know, it's amazing. They come to my intensive, and 6 months later, when we do the intensive again and I have them come back as alumni, it's amazing what they do. If I may, there's a particular person, Adriano Rio, with the Rio backpack. Listen to this, Melanie. With the Rio backpack, a kitchen top philanthropy. She provides backpacks to underprivileged children here in the Southern California area. Now, prior to this, she probably couldn't put two sentences together. But by being consistent with her message, she was able to put together a message that was clear, concise, and definitely a call to action. The time I saw her 6 months later, she did over 2,000 backpacks at $40 each. That's $80,000. And I said, how did you do that? What stage did you speak on? She goes, no, Maurice, I did it online, standing at Starbucks. She didn't even want to go on stage. While she was standing at Starbucks or at the grocery store or what have you, she would just strike up a conversation with people, and by the end of it, they were opening their wallets and donating to her cause.
Wow.
Why? Yeah. Why? Because she was clear, concise, and she had a call to action. You know, that's the operative thing there.
I love it. That's such a great.
Is that a cool story?
You know, your platform can be anywhere. You know, it's just we get caught up in our heads what it's supposed to look like, but you know, especially in the beginning, you know, just sometimes being willing to get your message down and communicate it well to other people, it can be the great. You know, it becomes contagious. So, okay, so or getting your brand figured out was really where the challenge.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at you've built a business as a speaker, and something tells me that requires you to be gone a lot. It takes a lot of time, and so time becomes a real premium for you. Have you found a way to really optimize something you do in your business that has allowed you to create more time, or maybe to create more income, or both?
You know, what I noticed is that I had to go back to the way I was doing it in my sales. I needed definitely some type of tools, some type of infrastructure so that I could keep track of everything. And if I could just suggest anything to people is to go out there and find a CRM, a contact resource manager.
I so agree.
I mean, right now I'm actually going to a higher level one. I'm actually entertaining the idea of going back to Goldmine, which is a professional corporate type of thing. And I'm a solopreneur, but yet because of everything that's going on, and again, because of the world that we live in, you know, we're bombarded with messages, all different sides. And not only that, we have to deliver our message. You better. I think they say the devil's in the details. No, I think the devil's in the follow-up. Definitely keeping track of who's who, what's what, what's the next steps. So what I've discovered is this, that little technique, that little maybe a piece of equipment that I need is some type of follow-up system, a CRM. So if I could suggest to anybody, I know there's a couple of free ones out there. Definitely look at that. See what your follow-up system is. Or better yet, how we used to say it in sales, what is your touch system? Because we know this, that you would have to touch a prospect now. We'd have to prospect anywhere from 7 to 12 times before they would even consider investing in our product. So knowing that, I'm going backwards to go forwards. I'm going to see what a professional CRM platform I can use, software I can use, so that I can keep in touch with people and I can have the follow-up. And yet, devil's in the follow-up.
Yeah, I actually use one, and it's made a huge difference. Plus, because I do have a team, you know, we're delegating, and you know, sometimes other people are touching those customers. So we use Infusionsoft as our CRM, and that integrates with some other technology. But I think that's one of the most critical things that you just said. The devil's in the follow-up. You know, if you're going to spend all this time and money getting your message right, but you don't really have a way to follow up with people who are expressing interest, then that's where a lot of times your sales will fall through the great tip to remind us all, are we doing the follow-up right? Do we have a system to help us? And I love that you're recommending a resource or a tool, technology, if you will, to help optimize that process. I'm also curious, though, about something else. And you said something earlier that just really sparked this idea, is that, you know, you could do 100 sales calls, or you could get on a stage. Well, the same thing falls true in terms of the way clients once they become our clients, right? You could have 100 one-on-one, coaching sessions, or you could bring them, you alluded a few times to your intensives, you can bring them into a room and do it all at once, right?
Correct.
So when you do intensives, do you bring people in the process, or are you doing them one-on-one, or some of both? Like, have you found a way to optimize your time that way?
Again, great question. What my flow is that I do an intensive twice a year, every spring and fall, and I keep it minimum. It's not one of these big extravaganzas of 400, 500,000 people. No, it's only 50 people, me and 50 people. Why? Because I want that contact.
Yeah.
Because of what I'm teaching them, the template, I have to have that semi-private, that semi-one-on-one with them. So what it is, it's a 2-day program that we walk through the template, and I feel that this is another thing that distinguishes me from other presenters, and it's this. Not only am I delivering theory, but I'm having them apply the template right then and there. In other words, they're crafting, they are writing out their presentation right then and there. So by the end of the intensive, by Sunday, as I say, by Sunday at 5 o'clock, they have written out their presentation fully. Why? Because I want them to be ready. I want them to hit the ground running come Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, now that they have a message, what next? Well, that's why I have the master class. And master class, quite simply, is that follow-up. It is an accountability program. In other words, I say, okay, now that you have your $1 million message, what are you going to do with it? What blogs are you going to write? How many times a week are you going to write that blog? In other words, I hold people accountable. Yes, you better believe it. Being 100% Sicilian, I hold people's feet to their fire. Not literally, but maybe. I hold their feet to their fire and make sure that they're accountable, that they are doing the follow-up. And the follow-up does not have to be just to reach and contact people, but are you doing the blog posts? Are you doing your social media? Are you sending out your thank you letters? Are you using the various systems that you have in place to their fullest potential? Again, going back to that idea of optimizing. And that's the whole thing. And I love your message, Melanie. In other words, are you optimizing your business? Or are you what does Stephen Covey say, the 80-20 rule, Pareto principle?
Yeah.
Are we spending time on that 80% of things that we do, which is easy to do, but it's only giving us 20% of our results? Successful people, what they do is they optimize. They have accountability partners, and what they do is they focus on the vital, which is that 20% that gives them the 80% return. So you better believe it. I have a whole flow to my business so that it's the 50 people, the intensive, the master class, and that's one-on-one. It's a 6-month program that I work one-on-one with people on the phone. They have their homework. I give them homework. I have them reread Think and Grow Rich, but instead of using it as a book, I use it as a workbook. They actually do the exercises that are in there once and finally in their lives, and I keep them accountable, and I keep them, and if I may, can I use your term? I optimize their output. Why? So their input grow.
Great. So you found a way to leverage your time, if you will, and optimize your time so that instead of doing all this one-on-one, you can do it in a group. And that's really what I wanted to showcase here is that I love the resource. And, sometimes we got to think outside of the box. It's really comfortable to kind of do, things one-on-one. But if you want to really make big transformation in people's lives, you want to have more impact, you want to be able to increase your financial flow without working more hours, you got to get creative. And I love that you do these intensives as a way to be creative and to get more people through the program, because it'd probably take you 3 years to do that many people if you did it one-on-one. So Maurice, what is a favorite mantra or quote that you use to get powered up and excited?
I have to thank my mom, Nancy M. DiMino, for my mantra.
Okay.
Growing up as, let's say, the chubby kid in school, being picked on and made fun of, it was hard for me to go out there and face the world. So she kind of played with that expression, and she said, Maurice, sometimes you just got to face the music. And I use that mantra to this day. If I'm going out on the road, if I'm trying new topics, if I'm meeting new people, maybe I'm going after a new... Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we just have to go out there and face the music. Yeah, maybe public speaking is not your thing. Maybe you do have that fear. Hey, maybe you're not a good letter writer. But guess what? Face the music, because practice does make progress. So if I may, I share that with all of my clients. Sometimes you just have to face the music words, go out there, challenge yourself, throw yourself fully at it, and you cannot believe the returns that will give you when you do face the music.
So I love that one, and I learned a little bit different version of it. And somebody actually gave this to me on a little image. I don't know if you could read it.
Oh, it's very small.
It's very small. I'll read it. It says, "Just put on your big girl underpants and get over it."
That's it. Okay.
That's my version of that.
Yeah,
your mom's
that's
quote.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So I keep that right here just in case I'm having one of those days. So Maurice, this is awesome. I love the tips you share with us on building $1 million message, and I love the optimization techniques that are working for you. Especially some of the people who follow this show are in a solopreneur role, and they're not building out big teams, but they've got to get really smart about how they use their time. And you shared 2 really great tips. And most importantly, you've got an intensive that's really powerful for people. How could someone find out more from you on those intensives or get access to more of your tips and resources?
Well, I asked them to come join me on MauriceDiMino.com, my namesake website. So you go to MauriceDiMino.com, gate there. I say, while you're there, why not join the family? I make everyone Sicilian, Melanie. Join the family, because once you're on the... I
want to be Sicilian too.
You're already part of the family.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
worry, you're already part of the family. So come to MauriceDiMino.com, explore around, join the family, and there you will find our intensive, Creating Your $1 Million Message. And I invite people to join us every spring and fall right here in the Los Angeles area, and to go out there and create your raving fans.
Yes, I love it. Go get some raving fans, really get that message popping, and I can't wait to hear your takeaways from today's show. Go ahead and pop down below in the comments section of the show page, or if you're catching us on iTunes or Stitcher Radio, you can head over to melaniebensonstrick.com and look for the blog, and you can come share some of your ahas there as well. So thanks, Maurice, for being here today. It was great to connect with you from just down the street. It's so nice. Most of my guests are like all over the world. It's like I've got a neighbor today. This is great. And thank you for tuning in from all over the world, wherever you are. Be sure to say hi. Let us know you're here. See you next week.